When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Skims or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/income.
Hi everyone, I'm Deb Flashenberg. Welcome to Yoga, Birth, Babies, a podcast produced by Prenatal Yoga Center. We will be diving into everything prenatal yoga, birth, and baby related, hoping to inspire, educate, and empower you through your journey into motherhood. Thank you for listening.
Hi, I'm Deb Flashenberg, and I'm your host of Yoga, Birth, Babies. And today we have a community birth story. I love the community birth stories because throughout someone's pregnancy, if they're coming to the center, whether it's in person or online, I get to know the students. You know, we always do a circle time, so people are introducing themselves and how far along they are and their aches or pains or issues. And the more regularly someone comes, the more I get to watch them through this huge transformation. And then usually what happens is they show up for postnatal yoga, somewhere like 6 to 8 weeks later. And I always check in with them, of course, and how was your birth? And today's guest, as soon as she showed up for postnatal yoga, of course, I'm like, how was your birth? And she said it was really great. And she said it was empowering. And then she also shared that her postpartum was challenging. And I asked her, would you share your birth story? And she said yes. So we're going to hear that later. But what I really think is important in hearing these birth stories, these community birth stories, is that there are some very universal messages from birth to birth and entrance into parenthood, and some challenges and some amazing things. And so many times we think about birth and we have kind of the scary things that come at us and the fear mongering. But what I love about positive birth stories is it can change that narrative. And today's birth story with Shing, she talks about changing some of her birth plan and feeling really empowered, and honestly, a pretty amazing birth story. Not too much of a spoiler, but her pushing stage was quick for her first-time parent. It was pretty remarkable. And what is important to me is that she came out feeling really good about her story. And then she also opened up to some of the universal challenges that new parents face, the challenge of identity, the challenge of lack of freedom, and baby blues, and the hormonal shift and crying. And so I think this is a really powerful story. There's highs of happiness and lows of confusion and sadness, and checking one's mental health that I think is really important. And I'm really, really excited for you to hear this story. Let me tell you a little bit about my guest. Shing Yiing Ong is our student at PYC who's sharing her story. Let me tell you a little about Shing. She is a certified comprehensive Pilates instructor, founder of her own company, Body Balance Lifestyles, who specializes in creating fun, short workouts for busy entrepreneurs and moms. And as we record this, she has a 6-month-old daughter who is just absolutely beautiful and delicious. So I'm really excited for you to hear Shing's story. Before we get to that, I always love to give updates about what's happening at PYC. So things are moving remarkably well. We have really quite a full schedule. We have our new parent support group that honestly it's been full that we're thinking about, do we need to add another? We've got our baby fingers, baby sign language. We added a new workshop called Body Ready Birth, based on the Body Ready method system. And Ellen is leading that. Of course, we have all our online and in-studio pre and postnatal, our baby and me. And then the other side of what we do at PYC is our teacher training that we are very much into. We do 3 a year online and 1 in person, and then 1 online postnatal. So we are knee deep into that. I'm already correcting exams from the first teacher training. We're watching videos so much. It's just delicious. So you can check out all of this on our website, prenatalyogacenter.com. 2 more things I just want to bring to your attention. If you have a birth story you want to share, or maybe a topic I haven't covered, or if you, the listener, would be a great guest for the podcast, send all that information to me. If you want to be a guest, we have an application on our website. And if there's a topic that I haven't covered, or maybe I need to revisit, send that to me, deb@prenatalyogacenter.com. And then the last thing is really a request from me to you. If you can leave a rating and review on wherever you're listening to this podcast from, that helps others find the podcast. All right, that was a lot. Now we're going to hear Shing's stories. We're going to take a super quick break. Please enjoy Shing's birth story.
Mothers know all about life's tricky transitions. Thankfully, Ollie helps you prioritize wellness through every age, life stage, or magnificent mood change. Need a multitasking multivitamin that keeps up with you? How about an essential prenatal for you and baby? Ollie's got you through it all. Life's tricky. Your wellness routine shouldn't be. Get what you need at ollie.com.
Hi, Shing. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Deb?
I'm doing really well. And I just want to say thank you for letting me record your birth story. I find it so special that when I connect with students who come to class a lot, especially you, who I knew you didn't come to the studio, you did it online, which again shows like a real commitment. So I'm just excited to hear the afterwards. I got to see you go through your pregnancy, but now I'm so excited to hear your birth story. So I guess we should jump in, but I think we should start with, I'd love to learn a little bit more about you.
Yeah, thanks, Deb, for inviting me. I'm Shing. I am currently now a mom of a 6-month-old daughter, so time flies. I remember being to prenatal yoga center online last year during November, December, somewhere there. And right now it's been almost a year. So other than being a mom, I'm also a Pilates instructor where I founded my company back in 2020 as a corporate Pilates instructor. Now I just pivot to doing my own, where I actually work through a lot of women, corporate women and busy moms out there to throughout their work and kind of how to balance their work life and with really quick workout at home. And I also help actually a lot of moms out there build up their core again after pregnancy. So that's a little bit about me and a mom and my career.
I'm really thrilled. I remember that you're a Pilates teacher because I remember having that conversation. I'm like, how much are you still showing during the Pilates classes? So I'm excited to hear about not just your birth, but when did you start to think about planning for your birth, and what were some of the priorities for you?
Planning wise, I think I started thinking about plan once it hit my 3rd trimester, sometime early 2024, when I started the 3rd trimester. Where I guess I was a little scared, not sure what to happen, especially hearing different stories. So when I hear about that, I'm trying to keep an open minded. I don't have a big birth plan, but what came to top of my mind is I definitely want a vaginal birth. That's my top priority, and I want my partner to be there in the room with me, and I would like to be as natural as possible. So that is my, I guess, my top 3 priority. So when it comes to that, so that I just want to do anything I can to plan for that. So that's my actually top
Those are your main
priority.
priorities.
Yeah.
So how did you then go about planning for those, to think about, okay, you wanted your partner with you, you
Mhm.
wanted it to have as little intervention as possible, and you want it to be vaginal. What were some of the things that you did to help that be a realization?
I guess first thing first is definitely exercising. Right? I joined prenatal yoga also because I have been always like a quick, fast kind of person. And then when I think my end of second trimester coming, I wanted to also learn about birthing position, things and things that I don't know. So I joined prenatal yoga center to get my body ready for it as well. Aside from Pilates, I wanted to get my physical ready. And second, I joined a lot of birthing class with my partner. I think I took one of the I'm sorry that I forgot the title. So it was, I think it was like a couple, like a
Comforting touch.
yes, comforting touch. Yeah, and it is really helpful. That class helped me throughout my first couple hours of contraction, how to ease in. It really prepared me for that as well. And then other than that, I just trying to educate myself as much as I can, doing like massages, uh, as also move as much trying as I can, but also listen to my body, not to push myself if I don't want to. So that's something that I prepared it, but also at the same time, mentally wise, I try to keep myself open because I know things can happen without me knowing. So that's something that I plan.
Actually, and that kind of made me think about you come from such a physical background being a Pilates teacher.
Mhm.
And as you mentioned, kind of being in that like fast pace, always, working out, which I get. I'm that same thing. Like
Yeah,
I love cardio. I love
yeah.
weightlifting, even though I'm also a yoga teacher. But I remember, and actually correct me if I'm wrong, you were having some pelvic pain that we had to modify things. How did that feel? Because it really probably went against what you were used to, having to pull back on the physical aspect.
Yeah, that is something that I never thought it will happen. I thought I do have like a healthy pregnancy, but definitely physical wise, my pelvic I think my pubic bone was really in pain. I'm not sure what was going on. I even talked to my OB, and it seems like everything was okay when I actually didn't know it was pubic bone until I came to prenatal yoga center. I always hear a lot of hip pain, but I didn't get that. So in order to modify that, that actually was a little tough for me at the beginning. But being a Pilates instructor as well, when I coach other students, I also know that listen to your body is the first thing. So I try to let my body guide me when I felt like a different kind of pain, not like the workout kind of sore pain. If it's like not comfortable, I modify and just have to listen. And I know it was okay because I don't want to make things more complicated in the
Hmm.
future. So that was a little bit challenging at the beginning. But once I start following guidance and just, pull back, and then I guess the recovery was a lot easier a lot fast. Physical recovery was a lot easier than it was because pubic bone was very painful for me during pregnancy. That I think if I push myself, things might go down a hill, which I don't know. So
Yeah.
that's something that I learned to really, really in tune because every pregnancy is also different. So I
Yeah.
know that's my pregnancy, that's my experience. So I do experience quite intense of pubic bone pain.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember really modifying your poses, and
Yeah,
I can imagine there might have been frustration. You're like, oh, I want to do this. But I
yeah,
like your mindset to be like, okay, if I do it and let my ego go further, then you're going to be in more pain
mhm,
during pregnancy and possibly in the
yeah,
healing. So thank you for that honesty.
yeah.
So one thing I know you shared with me was that there were some stressful events that happened during your pregnancy. So, if
Mhm.
you are open to sharing about that, how did you stay grounded and refocus during that time?
Yeah, I guess the first thing came up to me was my stressful event was like I guess 8 months pregnant down the road. I very big things happened where I got laid off from my full time job, and that was very scary because my baby is about to pop up in a month, and all of a sudden everything would change. Um, but I guess I always have a positive mindset where things gonna happen for a reason. Maybe it will lead to a better thing. So I try to focus on things that I love to do. I actually do more yoga classes, do more Pilates classes during my last month. So I guess it helped me in a way. So I try to be really, really focused on what what's my next important thing, which is my health and my baby. It's coming. I'm excited to meet her and my family. So I try not to let that come to my mind, even though I know it's stressful, but I try to be positive. And also, I think the second thing came out in my mind is ask for help, talk to people, really, really help with my mental health as well. So that's something that I try to like really focus on what's the most important thing for me during that time.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. I can imagine the stress of me like, all right, my life's about to change and now I have this another smack in the face right before. But I
Mhm.
like that you turn to your yoga and Pilates, like the things that because we have such little control over so much, and
Yeah.
that you were able to use something that felt empowering and embodying, and that you were helping with your upcoming birth. And that's where you put your focus. Because a lot of people
Mhm.
could have just spiraled. So I like
Mhm.
where you shifted to. All right, so now I want to hear a birth story. So I'm just going to hand it over.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Every time I think about my birth story, I know before that I had I was so nervous, and I had a friend that never had kids was asking me, why were you so nervous? I was like, because I'm about to pop out a kid that I don't really know what's gonna happen. And I'm such a planner. Like I always like things to go in a certain way, but I really had to be open minded because things are going to happen without me knowing. So what happened was I don't know why I thought my baby will go past 40 weeks, but she was I mean, she's still full term. She's about 39 weeks and few days in. I actually just thought my last Pilates class, like with my big belly, all of a sudden the contraction just kicked in. I thought it was just a false, alarm. And I remember, I think I took your class the day before, thinking that I still have a lot of time. I think my hospital bag was just packed. And all of a sudden, it's just really painful and keep coming again and again, again and again. And then I think that's when I started to call my husband 3 hours in. I was like, you might need to come back. I think labor is about to start. And then I believe I have this, nowadays there's this app that you can track the app asked me to go to the hospital. So I guess I'm like, I guess I am ready. At that time, the contraction was kind of like no joke to me because I never experienced period pain before, so I thought it might be something like that, a mild cramp. It's just getting more and more intense. So I used the comforting touch, whatever we thought in class, to sort of do having a labor at home the first few hours first with my birthing ball. It sort of helped, and then until I couldn't handle the pain anymore, I went to the hospital. Thankfully, I live next to the hospital, so I literally walked to the hospital, and I thought baby is about to come because I was in so much pain and then I wasn't dilated at all. And at that moment, I was like, oh gosh, how long? I asked the doctor and nurse, I was like, how long is it going to take? And they're like, we don't know. And I literally was like, I don't like that. I don't know. So as much as I wanted to have like all natural at that moment, my body could not physically walk that at that time during contraction kicked in. So I did opt for an epidural, which I'm thankfully the medical team have a very wonderful medical team that helped me. So I got to rest for about I guess 12 hours before like I was ready to push. So during that time, I just remember side lying, or that what you told me to. So I tried to lie on the side, I had like a peanut ball. So I go side to side because I still can move it
You're
on the
doing
bed.
all the right
Yeah,
things. I
I can
love
move
it. I
it
love that you had
side
your
to
peanut
side.
ball.
And then like I guess I because I got to rest, and then I think it dilated quite. I forgot how fast it was, and then all of a sudden, like 12 hours in, the I do feel like it's not right. I feel like I need to go to the bathroom. It's getting more and more intense even with the epidural. Because I didn't add much dosage. I still wanted to feel something so that I can push. So I think the physician assistant came in and said, I think you might be ready in the next hour. So all of a sudden the medical team comes in, and they were like, yeah, you're ready to push. I was still in shock. I think I wasn't ready at all. I was still in shock, and then I was on my back, but I elevated up a lot higher. But I think that's the most comfortable for me. And I think we were doing some practice push where I remember the nurses or the doctor, the physician assistant told me you're not supposed to breathe when you push. And then I sort of had an argument with them, like, that's not what I learned, and that's not what I'm used to, kind of thing, because it feels like, I don't know, I just feels like I'm not giving any oxygen for at all. So I sort of use whatever I learned from your class and what my Pilates experiences. When I push, I sort of like, when a contraction comes in, I when I push, I sort of take a deep breath and exhale. And I think when I start practice pushing, the baby started crowning.
Oh, wow.
And the doctor wasn't in yet. I was nervous. I was like, where is the doctor? And they were like, oh, can you please hold for a second?
Wait, so you were crowning
Yeah,
and they told you to hold?
Yeah, they told me, I was like, let's pause. And that time, I think the contraction wasn't in yet. You had to wait for the waves, right? So I think I was okay at that time, but the baby, I could literally feel the ring of fire. Baby was crowning. And then I was like, ooh, I sort of take like a lot of breath, like breathing, like to ease the pain.
Uh-huh.
And then it was, they asked me to pause. I just literally was yelling really loud. I was like, I don't think I can pause. I think she's about to be out. And then they're like, okay, let's continue. And then I think the doctor came in. I think like right after, she's like, I heard from my team, you're very good at pushing. And then I was like, oh, really? And I don't know. I guess I was like, at that moment, I thought he might be encouraging me. I thought it might take like another hour, because that was only like 5 minutes or 10 minutes in. And then he was just there for like 5 minutes. He was like, okay, one more push, and then you have your baby. So I guess I was like, I push, I exhale really, really like loud, and all of a sudden my baby just flew out.
Oh my gosh. So you had like, so you had like 2 pushes?
I guess probably three. Three. And then they asked me to pause, where I was like, I don't think I can pause. So, and then I was still in shock when the baby came, because I think, I remember that we were talking about baby position. I think she was at the right position, because
clearly
you told me, because few days before I had a scan, the baby was facing in the best position. I'm like, keep it that way. So I was doing the stretch that you told me to do at home, like almost every day. So maybe that's why it was in a very good birthing position. She just came. She flew, literally, I remember she flew out, and I was still in shock. Like when the baby comes out, I was still like, do I still need to push or something? But she was already out.
Oh my gosh. First of all, can I highlight and say amazing? But I love that you had practiced things, like you are a Pilates teacher, so you know how to use your abs. But like we did in class, we practiced the exhale. And I just love that they're like, okay, hold your breath. And you're like, no, no, thank you.
Still, like, I feel like, I mean, the medical team, I didn't want to feel like I'm, having an argument. I exhale really, really like small in my own breath, but it sort of helped me. I feel more calm. I feel like I could do this. Like, I feel that I had like amazing birthing experience with all the things that I prepared of, and then with leading to yoga and with my Pilates, I know how to use my core and relaxing my pelvic floor throughout the last 4 weeks of my pregnancy. So it definitely really helped. I was also in shock when the baby was like born, because I mentally and physically was ready for like an hour maybe.
Yeah.
But when she was out, I was also like, I was really, really in shock. And I guess with things that I prepared, it really, really helped as well. And with that, actually, I'm also surprised I had no tear.
That's so good. Yeah, oh my gosh.
So it helped me to recover, I guess, with postpartum physical recovery. I would say it's It wasn't easy, I would say.
Oh, I definitely want to hear about that, but let's take a quick break and then we're going to come back and dive into postpartum. Okay, super quick break. We'll be right back.
You were probably expecting one, but got pregnant with two. We get it. Twin Talks encourages moms who are expecting twins as well as experienced moms of multiples. Together, we'll explore the unique challenges new parents face when raising two or more children of the same age. Join us as we embrace the joys of parenting when you've got double the duty. Subscribe through your favorite podcast app or say, "Hey Alexa, play the Twin Talks podcast." And be sure to visit newmommymedia.com to check out our other parenting shows, Preggy Pals, Newbies, Parent Savers, and the Boob Group. Twin Talks, parenting times 2. The wait is over and your new baby is here. But it didn't come with an instruction manual. That's why there's Newbies. We help guide new mothers through their baby's first year of life. Listen as newly postpartum moms celebrate the excitement of becoming new parents and share the emotional and physical struggles of recovering from childbirth and caring for a newborn baby. Subscribe through your favorite podcast app and visit newmommymedia.com to check out our other parenting shows, Preggy Pals, Parent Savers, Twin Talks, and the Boob Group. Newbies, new moms, new babies.
Okay, we're back. Before we jump into postpartum, I want to pull back and just talk about one thing about the peanut ball and your choice for an epidural, because I know that sometimes people go in, they're like, I'm going to do this unmedicated. But what I really love and respect is that you are thinking, okay, this was the plan, but you were listening to your body and your body's like, no, 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 no. I need to do a different idea. And that you asked for the epidural and it gave you a chance to rest. And then while you were resting, I love that you brought the peanut ball in because it can be an active rest. So you had that opportunity to rest, but because you utilized the peanut ball as a tool, it helped your pelvis open in different ways, which is how and why I mean, who knows if it's exactly how it was, but it helped your baby come through. And I mean, it sounds like things were so aligned. So I just wanted to applaud you on that listening, like deeply listening to what your body needed as opposed to getting caught up in like, no, this is what I told myself I would do. You listen, your body's like, no, thank you. I got to go another direction. So that's amazing.
Yeah. Initially, I was, a little upset, but at the same time, I just wanted to go with whatever that best fit me that time. I was already in so much pain. I was really, really physically exhausted, but I remember the peanut ball. So that's something that, the hospital have. So they kind of provided me with, and it definitely what I learned from prenatal yoga center definitely helped me as well. So if I feel like I'm so glad that I joined a community with also my knowledge as well, kind of help in both ways.
Yeah. And you actually dilated really quickly.
Yeah.
12 hours. I mean, to go from getting there to, they're like, yeah, you're not dilated, to 12 hours later, full dilation. And I'm pushing for 3 contractions. Wow, Shing, I can see why you're like, let me share my story because it's really positive. I love that. So let's talk about postpartum because I know that experience was challenging for you. So, but you overcame it. So whatever you're open to sharing, I'd love to hear.
Oh, so for
Postpartum.
for
Yeah.
postpartum. So I guess with physical recovery, even with no tear, the first few days, it's actually really challenging. All of a sudden, you have someone to take care of, and it was a lot more challenging than I thought, I guess. Even though, like, at that moment, I remember I was like, oh gosh, like I had no tear, but I already feel like I was in pain to even get up to go to the bathroom sometimes. So, and then I had to feed the baby, lactation. It was not the easiest for me as well. I get really frustrated. Baby wasn't latching as well as I wanted to. So all of a sudden I felt like, I don't know, is it hormone? I just felt that I cried for no reason in a way. And then I'll suddenly feel so I just appreciate my mom a lot more when she was there with me. Um, yeah, it was I thought I could just feed my baby a lot quicker, but no, I can't do that. So I was beating myself up from there. I felt horrible when I feed my baby formula the first few days before my milk supply came in. So I I think at that point, I'm just very glad that I was able to also, like, get out of bed, walk around, just to ease myself out. But with my I think before I the baby was born, I always thought, oh, baby will sleep, and then with that I can do anything. But I guess I was wrong. um, but baby is awake now. I feel that I have to take care of her, and a lot of things sort of just went out of, like, when my old Shing pre pregnancy was kind of gone. I was a little depressed, I would say. I wouldn't say myself that has like postpartum depression, but I definitely had blues where I was sad for really no reason. Um, I I just didn't know I need a lot of help, and it's kind of uh, difficult for me to ask for help at the beginning because I always think that I'm the mom. Why can't I do it? When baby was crying, I don't really know what to deal with it. So that was very challenging to me to kind of get myself back. With postpartum, I think I learned, I guess, how to overcome it. I This is my, like, obviously one of my first, I would say, my top three time to, like, ask as many help as I can, which is surprisingly, I never did that before. I asked people to, like, get me food. I asked people to, uh, hold the baby for a second while I need to do some personal stuff. Initially, I felt so bad. Yeah, so I think with I guess not my family is not in the city, which kind of makes me a little bit more challenging to navigate to ease in motherhood because it went from, like, not having a dependent, all of a sudden a night you have another person that you need to feed, make sure he or she is alive. So I that was just challenging for me to go through motherhood because initially I really thought I could handle everything, but at the end I was like, "Ooh, this is a lot more challenging. I get nothing done. I get no work done when baby's awake."
Yeah,
So
that transition, first of all, thank you for everything you said is so true and so universal in ways that I'm again
Mhm,
appreciative of that you're sharing because I think that other people are going to hear this and think, "Oh, I recognize that." Or those that might be heading into it can understand what's to come. I
mhm,
think one thing you hit on that really resonated was that you're like the earlier Shing, the
mhm,
pre-pregnancy Shing, like there's such an independence that
mhm,
happens and then all of a sudden there is a complete lack of independence because you have someone dependent on you.
mhm,
And that can feel really shocking for a lot of us.
mhm,
For me, it was, I remember at this bagel store just downstairs and like half a block down that I would go to. And I remember just trying to get to the bagel store was like a half hour to 45 minutes of trying to get out the door with the baby. And that's what I remember being like, that's when the first moment of depression hit me. I'm like, I can't just go get a nice coffee and bagel. Like I lost that. And it took a while to accept that. And so I appreciate
mhm,
you sharing that. And I also appreciate you just talking about you don't think it was postpartum depression, but it was just like the blues. It's such a
mhm.
huge transition. And without family around especially can be really hard. So what helped you in those moments where you were feeling overwhelmed?
I think what really helps me is definitely reach out to other moms, join other moms community,
Yeah.
just talking to and learning about motherhood because yeah, it was before me having my daughter was born. I sort of skipped the newborn life, right? I went straight to, like, oh, I'm gonna take them on vacation, all this thing, and I didn't know how difficult it was to get my things done. because I love her, so I love my daughter so much, but at the same time it was really challenging for me to like that. I like how you say that you want to just go to a bagel store. I feel that I wasn't even able to also go out and get even a cup of coffee. So I definitely reach out and talk to, moms that were there before, and it definitely helped me just voicing up. I also started seeing just a therapy just to kind of talk something out and just make sure my mental health was in check. Because a lot of times I feel that people talk about physical health. Sometimes people never talk about mental health. So I want to make sure that I am still healthy in a way, because I have to take care of myself first before I can take care of the baby. So
Yes.
I definitely want to make sure that happened first. Also, I think the next thing I was able to do was like even reach out to friends and ask for help. Sometimes my friend, they can't help with the baby, but they were like, let me bring you food and we can just eat together.
Mm.
Then that sort of actually ease out as well, because I don't have to think about what to eat. I really have literally had no time to even think about cooking with when she was just born. And I had to also feel be okay to kind of split things out. Like, for example, I used to be able to exercise for an hour without any interruption, but now it might be tough sometimes. So I just wanted to feel good that, oh, I actually moved 20 minutes today, versus beating me up as like, oh, I didn't work out for 30 for an hour. But whereas like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes 20 minutes it's okay. Like yesterday I literally planned to take just a 15-minute run on the treadmill, but that never happened because my baby still had a little jet lag from our trip from Asia. So instead of me beating up myself, I try to just change my mind with like, I went out for a long walk with my baby, and that is my cardio. I take it as an exercise. So I just want to be okay with changing some lifestyle and asking for help. And in the past, I know I would be like, I want to do everything on my own. But now, with help, even some simple help just to ease things out, it really, really helps me a lot. And yeah, I think the first time I mentioned, I have also, I guess, being a mom, kind of, I feel like I discovered a new identity where I, met a lot of new friends that are moms too. So kind of just navigating through motherhood with other new friends as well.
Oh, you hit on so many important things: community, asking for help. Oh, let's just also just give snaps to
Mhm.
you talked about the mental health.
Mhm.
So important of
Yeah.
recognizing that your mental health needs to be a priority, because if
Mhm.
you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of your daughter.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you really did such good things, and it seems like it was really instinctual to hit all those things.
It was still challenging, but I feel that I think as time goes by, I'm just I sort of already know like I'm a mom now. There's no way that I can go back. It's like blessing. Like as much as like it's sometimes every not every day it's like rainbow. Sometimes it's like a lot tougher than it
Yeah.
was. So, but seeing the little kid, I'm just very happy that I'm a mom too.
Oh, that's so great. So what is something that's really surprised you about parenthood?
Surprise, I guess. I feel like everything is
Everything.
um, um, surprising. It's a lot tougher than I think I imagined. It's just because I think what I talked about before was I thought I could get everything done. I was I was in the middle of launching my business and having a baby. I thought I can do all at once, but when the baby was awake, I get nothing done. That was I guess, even though in the back of my head I knew that, but I don't know why when I was in it, I felt a lot more challenging to get all the things that I want to get done. And also something that it's more I would say surprising me, it was when this new identity come as a mom, uh, sometimes I feel that I never thought I lost myself, like I lost my old self doing the things that I like. That sort of surprised me, but I never know that could happen to me. I thought even though I have a baby, I can still, hang out with friends. It's not a problem. I'm going to bring baby out. But when I really have the baby, I feel that there's part of me that was like, was lost because, on, let's be honest, sometimes taking a baby out requires a lot of preparation.
Yeah.
So that was something that, even though as much as I know it will be challenging, but really be in it, it was a lot more challenging than I thought, as much as I'm so happy to have her. But there are times that I just feel that I wish I could have a little bit more help. And when I just need help, and something that I would say I need more help than before. So that's something that I'm very surprised. As much as before that, I knew it will take up a lot of my time, but I never knew I need that much help.
Yeah, it definitely. I think I'm not the best at asking for help, and I learned pretty quickly I needed to flex that muscle and kind of get over myself and ask for help. It was not easy. I don't think I'm alone in that. So now that you're 6 months in, first of all, congratulations for those first 6 months. How have things settled? You've kind of passed a few milestones and probably gotten into a bit of a routine. Baby is older, not as needy, like you're not feeding quite as much. How have things settled for you?
Things definitely get into more like a little bit more routine, but I wouldn't say I'm someone that has a strict routine with the baby. I know I have some friends that have like really, really strict schedule, but with me at home and working from home, so my schedule was a little bit more flexible, even though that I still feed her in a way. Right now, I just get used to feeding her. I'm no longer that stressed out anymore. And I sort of think it went into like my lifestyle. Where morning I go for a walk with the baby, like sort of like a new family bonding time with my husband as well, and also evening walks. And we sort of need help from like a helper as well, since we both of us are still working. So we had to hire someone to help us with some housework. So that's asking for help. Part one, I guess. Initially, I thought we could handle it, but because we both still had to work, even though we work from home, we get nothing done. But so even though that actually eased into it with the help, and then we were able to actually go back to work and had like know a little routine. We know when the baby's gonna go to bed, so we are able to schedule our own things as well. So that sort of eased into it a bit. But as baby go older as well, she's a lot more alert. So she definitely wakes up a lot more. So there's a lot more playtime with her. But we were able to build things. For example, she goes to bed earlier, let's say at 7. So we schedule a lot more like couples time or like alone time from maybe like at night, 7 to 9 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there is things that's just a little bit more routine and predictable for us. Just getting more used to it. It's just not a nighttime. I'm blessed that she's sleeping through the night. So at night, there's not so much of waking up anymore. So that's something where it probably helped us with our health as well, because we don't have to wake up that often with sleep deprivation.
Yeah, I think once, and I love routine, to a fault. Once we found a routine, a sleep kind of schedule for our kids, it definitely helped my mental mindset. So I'm glad that you found that as well. We're going to take another break. When we come back, what is one final tip or piece of advice you'd like to offer new and expectant parents? We'll be right back.
You've made it through the first couple of years with your kiddo, and life is crazy. You need Parent Savers. Each week, we provide moms with the practical information they need to help preserve their sanity. With the help of our experts, parents of toddlers get the superhero strength they need to tackle the world and the next sturdy diaper. Subscribe through your favorite podcast app or say, "Hey Alexa, play the Parent Savers podcast. Parent Savers, empowering new parents.
So we're back. So I'd love to hear, as a 6-month veteran now, parenthood, because it's still fresh. Like, you have
It's
so
still
much to
fresh.
pull from. What is one final tip or piece of advice you'd like to offer new and expectant parents?
I think the first it always comes to my mind is never be afraid to ask for help. That's something
Yeah.
that I really, really feel blessed that I'm surrounded by positive people, that people can help me, and not being judgmental when I say that I need help, and when I say that I have little blues and my mental health need to get some check, because I cry for no reason. Sometimes I get angry. I just I need help. So that's the first thing I would say. Just don't be afraid of asking for more help, even though it's more than one person's help, because
Mm-hmm.
it might actually really save you. Even though I think the mom guilt is also real, and I think as much as you ask for help, don't forget to be yourself as well. Even though just to get a coffee, that's something that
Yeah.
you love doing it, just something once a day, that would also be great. Just instead of in the past, like for example, for me, I wasn't able to work out an hour anymore. So don't beat yourself up even though something is better than nothing. So I would say don't beat yourself up in things that you were able to do now, and now even though you're able to achieve 10 minutes, it's actually a victory. So just celebrate that instead of beating yourself up for
That
not achieving that.
Those are really great tips. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And really universal. Where can people find your work?
I'm on Instagram. So my Instagram handle is bodybalance_lifestyle. So it's a BODYBALANCE_lifestyle. I'm right there. And then my website is just www.bodybalancedlifestyle.com. I reply on Instagram quite a lot, and then on my website you can find my email as well, so that you can actually connect with me through that. I love to actually talk to moms as well, people who are going through pregnancy and postpartum. Is just like a community I like to build as well. So yeah, I'm at that platform.
Oh, Shing, thank you so much for
Thank
sharing your
you.
story. I am absolutely delighted to have heard your story, and also for your honesty about challenges you faced. Again, I think it just helps others understand just all the different situations of pregnancy and postpartum, but again, also your honesty with yourself. So thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing.
Well, thank you for having me, Dad. I'm so glad to be here.
This has been an episode of Yoga Birth Babies, produced by Prenatal Yoga Center. You can catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope. I'm Deb Flaschenberg. Thanks for listening.
Bada boom, sold.
Huh?
Just sold my car on Carvana. Dropping it off and getting paid today.
Already?
What, you still haven't sold yours? You told me about it months ago. Is the offer good?
Oh, the offer's great.
Don't have another car yet?
I could trade it in for this car I love.
Come on, what are we waiting for?
You're right.
Let's go.
Whether you're looking to sell your car right now or just whenever feels right, go to Carvana.com and sell your car the convenient way. Terms and conditions apply.